this NL East betting edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with the promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, February the 18th. We are back with the first of our divisional previews for the 2026 season. We will have a gander about the NL East with, from somewhere in New York, lovely to see his little smiling face. It's Mr. Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, how the hell are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. This is a new year for me, Mal. I promised myself I'm going to be more positive. It was
oh, fuck off. No,
it was not the best off season, to be honest, the way it started, but I like the moves we made. I can't wait to talk about it and being back with you. I know Scott, Lonte, they're back as well. So I think we got spring training on Friday, got World Baseball Classic in a week or so. Hey, we're locked and loaded. I can't wait.
I really had to concentrate in that introduction because we haven't, the last MLB show, the previous one to this was the World Series Game 7 picks show, which seems like years ago, obviously the back end of last October. Yeah. And I've been doing all kinds of Premier League shows and stuff, so I had to concentrate on getting the MLB in. But you're right, we've got an absolute ton of stuff to look forward to. We'll be doing divisional previews. We'll be doing player props, etc. WBC, you mentioned. We'll be getting into that. Hopefully, we'll pick up a few new listeners on the way. So if you are new or you come across us soon enough, we'll be doing all these previews. And then when the season starts, we'll carry on like we always have, 6 days a week. I think we leave a Saturday out because everybody's got stuff to do and families and beer to drink and football to watch. But 6 days a week, handicapping every game, no messing about. So loads of content here. The chat is live and kicking. Joe Dollar has very bravely shown his face here. Joe Dollar, there's going to be too many mentions of football between now and the end of March, but Joe Dollar's team in the Premier League, Arsenal, absolutely shit the bed tonight. Arsenal are top and they played Wolves, who were bottom. And they blew a 2-goal lead. Wolves scored in the 94th minute and equalised. But Joe is brave enough to show his face, which is good. And Danny Midler's here as well. Danny, who is a stalwart in the Premier League chat, but he lives in Toronto now and is a Blue Jays. So we've got a Canada-sized, I don't know what the word is.
Canadian.
A Canadian. I know what that word is. Like, anyway, he's being acclimatized in the ways of the Toronto Blue Jays, is Danny. I said on the Prem show last week, I had a plumber here last week, and he was a Blue Jays fan, and you never get to talk baseball with anyone. And it just reminded me of how good that World Series was. Genuinely, I think it's an independent sporting event, and standalone, I think that was the best sport I've ever watched, that series. Had, I'm not exaggerating, everything. Literally everything. That Game 7 was fucking insane. Like, I mean, you name it, it was there. I can't think of a single better sporting event than those 7 games, Dylan.
Yeah, we've seen blowout World Series before, but last year, and I was rooting for the Blue Jays, if I'm being honest, and I had a ticket, so financially I was invested into them as well, but they had plenty of opportunities to win the World Series, and it came down to a few key plays, and it was amazing, and I'm so glad to be back talking about it because I know the chat was talking about this might be the last year till we do it. We might have a strike next year because of the Dodgers.
Well, I just listened to a few bits and bobs today, and they were talking about the CBN, and the bloke who was in charge of the MLBPA, he's been caught. Was he maybe caught shagging someone he shouldn't have been shagging? Or
his wife's sister.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, in a way, you take your hat off to the bloke. But in another way, just do the thing to do there is, Dylan, don't get caught. That's the key to all of that.
Agreed.
So whether or not that just that has an effect on the, I don't really understand any of that. We don't have that in this country. We never have the lockout and the bargaining.
It's everywhere. Don't give me that. It's everywhere, Mal.
Well, we don't. There's never not been any football because the players.
I was talking about scandals.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, just like the lockout, the walkout, whatever you want to call it, because it happened. The last time it happened, 5 years ago was it? When they were about a month late, maybe, or 2 or 3 weeks late. I remember that vividly. So yeah, fingers crossed. Don't bring us down, Dylan, man.
It was 2021-22 was the last lockout. So yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
How's your baseball off-season look then? Do you keep abreast of? It's really hard because I even just a couple of weeks ago, you look at the list of transactions, and it's impossible to keep up. When you're doing NFL, when you're doing the Premier League and the Champions League, and just getting on with your life, and then you look at the list of transactions, and you've missed 125. Like fairly big ones as well. Like, I mean, do you keep abreast of it, or do you just come like 2 weeks ago, right, new season, what's been going on?
Well, I think it really kicked up late in 2025, around November, December. And, a lot of guys either getting traded or, finding new homes. I try to keep a good pulse on it, especially with my New York Mets. But I told you, this is a new year for Dylan. I'm not going to be stressed. I'm not, I really, it's taking years off of my life, especially with the Mets. So I'm really trying, control what you could control. That's my new motto. Control what you can control. And to be honest, in the beginning, we're trading away Brandon Nimmo, and we're not re-signing Edwin Diaz. We lose Pete Alonso. We go and get Devin Williams. I'm sitting here around Christmas saying, fuck, like, I'm worried, not Uncle Steve, not my Steve. Like, this guy promised we'd win a championship. This is like the 4th, 5th year. He owns the team. He gets his fucking casino. But now, February 28th, 2026, I think the team is in a much better position. I think we have a better team. I'm positive. So we'll see. But in the beginning, I was very worried. I was like, damn, we have all this money. We have an owner who could outspend everyone. Why isn't he doing it? We have a GM who thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Maybe they see something I don't see. They were losing the fan base for a minute. And just like that, when you think I'm out, they bring me right back, baby.
I'm going to have to keep a close eye on this new positive, Dylan. I don't mean to laugh every time you sing it. I might get used to it. So we'll see. The jury's out, Dylan. I will keep a close watch on your vibes. I mean, this division is incredibly tight. It's the tightest betting division of all 6. You could throw a blanket over the top 3 teams, which makes it hard to find value. You really have to have a deep dive. So we'll go team by team. We'll see if anything stands out. We'll get stuck in. Let me tell you about the SGPN app, which is free in your app store. It's got all of our picks and podcasts in one easy-to-access app. We'll start with your New York Mets, Dylan. They are just the favourites. So for the World Series, they are 14-1. They are 7-1 to win the National League, plus 175 to win this division. To make the playoffs, minus 263. To miss the playoffs, plus 195. And the over or under is set at 90.5. I'll give you the floor here, Dylan, your team. You can do the heavy lifting on the Mets. It's a long old list of departures. You just mentioned Alonso, Diaz, etc. But it's a long old list of additions. So where are you most drawn to? Obviously, Bo Bichette stands out. Polanco, Simeon. Lewis Robert was the one totally passed me by. I saw him sitting down there in 7th in the projected lineup. And I was like, where did he come from? Like, he just snuck in from nowhere. Freddie Peralta. The bullpen's had a total revamp. So where you going, Dylan? What are you telling me?
Yeah, real quick, just to go through the transaction you mentioned, and I think it was time. Maybe not Edwin Diaz. I think it hurt a little more because of where he ended up. The Dodgers. I mean, they're obviously clear the best team in the league, and that's who the Mets are competing with in the National League is the Dodgers. So I think that's why it hurt a little more. It's like the cliche: if you can't beat them, join them. But I like Marcus Semien. Obviously, it's a little downgrade in offensive ability of what Nimmo could do, but he's a much better defender. So up the middle of the infield, and you mentioned Lewis Robert Jr. in center field. I think the up the middle of the field defensively, we are one of the best, not just in the National League East, but in the whole National League. Devin Williams, I'm hoping we could get a rebound year for him. I like Jorge Polanco as well. It's a small 2-year, $40 million deal. Love Bo Bichette. I think we needed a right-hander that could help out Juan Soto in that lineup. I think he's going to bat right behind him at third. I think playing third base. And we saw in the World Series him changing position. He could learn it on the fly. I think he has a really good glove. I don't worry about the transition to third base at all. I know a lot of people didn't like that. You mentioned Lewis Robert Jr. as well, trading for him. I think it's a great buy low spot as well for a guy who was mentioning in an MVP candidate and an all-star 2 years ago. He has speed. He covers a lot of ground in the outfield. And if we could just get a little back of what that was 2 years ago, I think it was a very good buy low spot for him. He could steal a lot of bags as well. You mentioned seventh in the lineup. I probably would put him fifth, right behind Jorge Polanco. And I know there's a lot of mention about Carson Bench and Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos. I would put Brett Beatty at DH right now. I think he could play a little of everywhere. He's that utility guy that could play a little everywhere. Third base, maybe a little left field as well. I know they're moving Juan Soto to left as well. And then what really put me the over, and as soon as they did it, I hammered it in, and we'll talk about the win total in a second. It's at 90.5 right now. I got 86.5, and it's jumped. When they went and got Freddie Peralta and Tobias Myers, I said, okay, I like it. I like the prospects that we traded away. Jet Williams is a great infielder. And Brandon Sprout is good, but we didn't have to trade any of our really good. Jonah Tong, we didn't have to trade. We didn't have to trade Noah McLean as well. So I like the rotation. Freddie Peralta is really our number one ace right now. Noah McLean has shown us that he could be a number two. Clay Holmes last year showed that he's good. Sean Manaea, I worry about him a little bit, but David Peterson, he kind of tailed off a little in the end of the last season, but David Peterson, and we still have Kodai Senga. So I think we have the best and most deepest rotation in the National League East right now. So I'm an optimistic fan. I took the over even at 4 wins adjusted at 90.5. I'm still taking them. I like them to win the division at plus 170. You said plus 175, so shop around. A little safer bet, obviously, is to make the playoffs at minus 250, but that's no fun giving that out. But obviously, as a Met fan, I do think there are going to be some bumps in the roads, but I just think maybe in season you might get a better number. But I think a lot has to go right for other teams to be better than the Mets, and you mentioned, or I mentioned the departures from last year. There was a lot of drama in the clubhouse. Apparently Brandon Nimmo and Francisco Lindor didn't get along very well. And we saw all the guys that had drama leave. So I think that's a very big thing. And even thinking of it as like a business sense, if you throw out the same model that continues to fail, that's the definition of insanity and not changing anything. So I think something needed to be done. Like I said, I think our defense right up the middle is great. I think our bullpen has gotten better. And, like I said, I'm sad to see Diaz go to the Dodgers, but I am expecting Devin Williams to have a rebound year after last season. So I'm over on the Mets win total. I'm taking them to win the division. I didn't get there with the National League because they still have to go through the Dodgers, but that's where I'm at with my Mets.
Yeah, like it. The lineup looks great. I've got no issue with it at all. It's a really strong top three, Simeon, Beatty is slated to start as DH, and then Alvarez, Robert, they've got the rest of those baby Mets as well. You made a really good case for the rotation, and that's where I had more questions than answers a little bit with the rotation, because you get Freddie Peralta as your unquestioned SP1. Joe's just pointing out that he can't pitch away from Milwaukee, but he was a little bit better on the road, I felt, last year. And then in behind him, it's a load of maybes. You said Nolan McLean, young lad, might be great. David Peterson, maybe. Holmes, maybe. Senga, maybe. And I think to take something like the 14-1 for the World Series or the 7-1, I'd want to be taking a big price. If there's a team that I'm happy on one side of the ball and maybe the other side can figure itself out, that's a team I don't mind taking a 25-1 or a 33-1 shot at. But when there's that many questions about it, a 14-1 was just a little bit skinny. It doesn't mean I think it's going to be bad at all. It's just more questions than answers. But there is a little bit of depth there. I mean, they've got a 6-man rotation if they want it, with Minaya maybe being number 6. The bullpen has had a major revamp, and it was all right last year. It was
they gassed out. They gassed out in September, though.
Yeah,
they really did.
So yeah, I don't mind it. I just didn't think I would be able to pull the trigger on much. And part of the reason was because we said this is such a tight division. I think there's better, like, plus 175 shots around than the Mets to win this division. If the 3, I would bet them. They're my favourite of the 3. Yeah. But I don't think, like, personally, I'll be having any money on that plus 175. Just seems a little bit. So you want a top 2 punch with your rotation. You want to really, like, they're my top 2. That's who we're rolling out on days 1 and 2. And then we'll pad it out. And I didn't really get that with the Mets. So your top 1, and then, like, which one of these fairly middling people. Yeah. So that's where I stood with them. But yeah, I mean, the line's right on my number, the 90.5. I had it slightly high, but like half a game, like nothing to make me want to bet it or fade it or anything in between. So it was kind of a little bit of a pass on the Mets, and I'll root for them. D-Rock.
And I think it's fair. I think 86.5. If you were able to get that number months ago, I think you would be on the over. At 90. People ask me, one of my buddies, he's a Red Sox fan, asked me if it's a hedge now to the under. I'm a fan. I'm going to root for my team. That's no fun. I don't want to root for the under now. But to your point, I think it's a fair thing. And I think talking about the Phillies and Braves coming up, that's my thing. A lot of more questions than I have answers. And we'll talk about that. But let's not forget, if one of those question marks, and I think the criticism is fair with a bunch of guys that you mentioned, if they don't pan out, we got Tobias Myers, who pitched 5 2/3 against us, scoreless innings. He could step in and be a starter and give us 5 innings. So I think Tobias Myers is a great addition as well. I think he's going under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, every 5th day, we liked him. He was always in him. We were drawn to him, Tobias Myers. Okay, we'll move on. Let me tell you first about Kalshi, a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. Tons of trading options for your favourite sports. Tons of other markets, including politics, entertainment, even the weather, which, by the way, it's rained literally every day this year where I am, Dylan. It's unbearable. You could have made a fortune on Kalshi. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use the promo code SGPN. That's KALSHI, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is the #1 social sports book and casino, available in over 35 states, including Texas and California. Getting on the action with Rebet, you'll get a 100% purchase match up to $100. The promo code is SGPN. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN. Okay, we move on to the Philadelphia Phillies, who are pretty much the really joint second favourites with Atlanta. For the World Series, they are 16-1, 15-2, or plus 750. You see, I'm 15-2. I'm still there. I'm still going with that. My UK odds, I need to switch from my Premier League brain. Plus 750 for the National League. plus 180 for the division. The playoff odds are much shorter than both the Mets and the Braves. Minus 370 to make the playoffs, plus 260 to miss the playoffs. And the total is 89.5, so one fewer than the New York Mets. Last year, they finished 96 in 6. Lopsided record last year, home road splits. 55 and 26 at home. 41 and 40 on the road. So just one game above 500 on the road, which is a slightly anomalous reading from the Phillies. They have added Adolis Garcia, right arm power. They've added a few nothing names in the bullpen, really. Re-signed Schwarber in Real Muto. And it was the subtractions that caught my eye a little bit. Ranger Suarez was the big one. He went to the Red Sox. Walker Buehler's gone. Harrison Bader, who was one of their sort of glue people in the middle. Jordan Romano, a bullpen name. So the lineup is fine. It's just hasn't got a ton of upside. I think you just, in a nutshell, Dylan, said that you had more questions than answers. You've got 5 of this lineup that's over 33 years of age now. All big names. So they should all be fine. They might all be fine. But the likelihood is, if they're going to go one of two ways, it's backwards. There's not that much more juice to be squeezed out of them. We're talking Trey Turner, Schwarber, Harper, and then Garcia and JT Realmuto. All great players, but we know what we're going to get with them. I think we know what the ceiling is. We've seen it. Yeah. And I think he can only drop off a little bit. Bryce Harper did have a down year. There's some sort of shenanigans with him and Dave Dombrowski at the minute as well, where Dombrowski questioned whether or not Harper would be an elite player ever again, which Harper's taken exception to. I don't know if you saw Harper did an interview recently with a T-shirt on that just said "not elite" in great big letters.
Oh, I love it. He's so petty, but I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was the least subtle dig you'll ever see. It's his boss. There was a reason, by the way, that Harper did have a down year. He saw the fewest balls in the zone, the fewest pitches in the zone of any player in MLB. 43% in the zone. So they weren't pitching to him. He's still at 260 with, 27 bombs or whatever it was. So he wasn't far away. The rotation, nothing new at all. Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola are all fine. Wheeler's injured. Taiwan Walker is your SP4. And then the one bit of upside, I've just talked about, I feel like everyone might just come back a little bit, is Andrew Painter. I backed him last year for Rookie of the Year. I talked about it a lot. We never seen him. I couldn't pick him out of a crowd. I don't know what he looks like. We'll see him this year. I'll be able to pick him out this time. So he's the upside. They've been waiting a very, very long time for him. They've absolutely wrapped him in cotton wool. So his 2026 is Andrew Painter's year. I'm not really drawn to him this year. I think the value's gone. That ship sailed. They ranked highly last year, the offense and the starting pitching, but I just don't see much positive change. The bullpen and the fielding was bang average. I'm torn because I think the projected for around about 86, that's too low. But the 96 that they won last year was too high. So the line is bomb on. Like, it's 89.5, which is exactly right. I prefer the Mets to the Phillies, and as far as betting, that's about as far as I got with them, Dylan.
Yeah, like I said, I think you hit the nail on the head, because if you look at all the key guys, they're all on the wrong side of 30. And I think that's where we have to go under. It opened up at 91.5, and I wish I got that because I would have taken the under. I still like the under. My projection's around 87, 88 wins on the year. I don't think they had the best offseason, if I'm being honest. They lost out on Bo Bichette. The Mets stole him from them. They lose Ranger Suarez, like you mentioned, to the Red Sox. And I think the biggest question mark is their rotation and, what we're going to see out of Zach Wheeler coming off the Tommy John surgery. The talent, the lineup is talented, but I just think there's plenty of question marks and holes in this team. And I just think they're all old. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Adolis Garcia, JT Realmuto. Like, we all know what we're going to get from them. I don't think the outfield is all that good with Justin Crawford. Brandon Marsh is okay. Dolis is okay. Like, they're too dependent on home runs, I think. And the rotation, I just don't, it's just meh. We'll see what we'll get from Wheeler when he comes back. Christopher Sanchez is good. Jesus Luzardo is good. They have a good 1-2. Outside of that, Aaron Nolan had a horrible year. Taijuan Walker, I saw what he did with the Mets. He's not good. Andrew Pinder, I want to see a little more out of, but, what can we really expect from him? So there's a lot more questions than answers. I took the under 89.5. I do think they get into the playoffs, but nothing really I like about this team. I don't think they have enough upside to win the division.
Yeah, fair enough. That's exactly where I got Dylan. So, yes. Dig Johnson's joined us. Dig Johnson, welcome along. Back for the new season. They're slowly creeping in, Dylan. The listeners are coming back one by one. Can't wait to get properly stuck into it. Next up, just for Joe, we have the Atlanta Braves, who are so very similar prices, actually. I think they are a hair shorter than the Phillies, actually. We might have gone out of sequence. They're kind of half a point shorter to win the National League. They are 14-1 for the World Series, 7-1 for the National League, plus 180 for the division. To make the playoffs, minus 250. To miss the playoffs, plus 190. The total is the same as the Phillies, 89.5. Still one below the Mets. D-Rock, they added... I mean, firstly, they were awful last year.
Terrible.
They got way behind. They never really caught up. They had false dawn after false dawn and never really got going. Finished with 76 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Added Mike Yastrzemski, Maurizio Dubon, Jonah Heim. Like, nah, it's just, you can't get excited about that. They lost nothing significant, but I mean, they were bang average everywhere last year. And what have they done to be enough better this time around to close what was a fucking big gap between them and the top two?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you mentioned Marcelo Dubon, Han-Sung Kim. I do like Robert Suarez a little bit. I think that was probably him and Mike Yastrzemski, probably the best transaction in the offseason for them. But like you said, it's just like, it's meh. Ronald Acuna Jr., we'll see a full healthy season out of him, but Matt Olson, another guy on the wrong side of 30. I like Judson Profar. I do think he's a good DH. Austin Riley's good. Outside of that, who really scares you in this team? They lose out in a lot of power. And Marcelo Ozuna, he's gone. So I don't know. I know the Braves are everyone's darling, and they're picked to, the most value. I think it's like plus 230, plus 240 to win the division. But I want no parts in Atlanta this year. The number has come down from 90.5 to 88, what I'm seeing right now. I'm not as high as on their roster than others. I think this year's all dependent on health for this team. And they're already dealing with injuries, and we're not even in March. We saw with Spencer Swellenbach already. He got hurt. So this team is another one where they have a lot of question mark. I even think to miss the playoffs at plus money, I would take the Braves to miss the playoffs. I don't think they're a good team. Outside of Chris Sale and Spencer Strider, who really scares you? Grant Holmes, Bryce Elder, Ronaldo Lopez. I think there's a lot of good lineups in the National League where they're going to be able to take advantage of this team. So, yeah, I'm fading the Atlanta Braves this team. I don't want nothing to do with their win total. We missed a good number at 90.5. And I think at plus money to miss the playoffs, I think I'd be on Atlanta to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, like I said, they were bang average everywhere last season. Acuna gets a take. Baldwin gets a take. The rotation, I mean, Chris Sale should be fine if he can stay fit. Spencer Strider could put together a belting season. We know he's capable of it. So there's a possible upside. But then you mentioned Ronaldo Lopez, Holmes and Elder. I fully agree with you. If you wanted to make a case, it's that, I mean, the run differential was minus 10 last year. They had a one-run game record of 21 and 35. So they came down 14 times the wrong side of a one-run game. The expected win-loss was 80 and 82. So there's a little bit of progression there. If like positive regression puts them back around about 500, but then they've still got to find another 9 or 10 games. And I'm just not buying it at all. I like them far less than I like the Mets and the Phillies. Dylan, I made the same pick as you, and I made the last final note. So I like the under 8, 9.5. And miss the playoffs was an option, I think, at plus 190. It's a little bit skinny.
Yeah.
But that was the standout play, and I'm kind of pleased. I love it when you boys, you or Scott or Lonte, if you make a pick that I make, I feel like a real boy. Like, it really makes me happy. Like, I'm like, fucking yes, come on, I've got this. So there you go. Joe's just saying that you think they squeezed everything out of Marcel Ozuna. Ozuna went to the Pirates, didn't he? I think, yeah. So yeah, Marcel Ozuna, a bit of a character. So yeah, we are out on the Braves. Sorry, Joe. Ball bad news for you tonight. Kick you when you're down. There you go. As if we care. Underdog has got you covered for picking for almost every sport. Getting on Underdog, win up to 5,000 times your money. Brand new offer for new customers. Play $5, get 75 in bonus funds. Sign up with the code SGPN. And Rhythm has been on a heater for college and NBA picks. Easy to sign up, run predictions off the house model, or make your own and play with the sliders. If you're looking to go premium, the promo code is SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off the first month. Download Rhythm, use promo code SGPN25. Next up, we will go to the Miami Marlins. They are 200 to 1 to win it all. 100 to 1 for the National League, 35 to 1 for the division, plus 475 to make the playoffs, minus 750 to miss the playoffs. Total is 72.5. I sort of fell a little bit for the Marlins. I feel like I do this every year with the Marlins, and I'm not sure
I think
why.
we all did last year.
Yeah, they were decent fun as well. I mean, what was the...
No, they went over their win total. I think they overachieved last year.
Was it 76 wins?
Yeah, I think they won like 76 games. And
79 wins.
Exactly.
Shit, what a team. So yeah, they've added... What a team. They've added Chris Paddock and Christopher Morel. The lineup is very young. They've got... I mean, they're capable of putting a streak together if they need not just 1 or 2 to click. They need 3 or 4 of them to click. But Jacob Marcy, just looking from sort of 1 down to, well, all the way down. Kyle Stowers, Griffin Conine, Connor Norby, names that we used to like shouting out on a daily basis on the show last year. They're all interesting players. At the rotation, Alcantara had to fight back in the second half because he fell off a cliff early on last year. She had a real good fight back, did Sandy. Yuri Perez is someone who always, every 5 days, was like, oh, maybe we can get Yuri at a good price today. Maybe he could throw a gem. Paddock, Meyer and Garrett, I don't mind at all. Yeah. I like both of those names. This, to me, looks volatile. Like, there's a wide range of outcomes on the Marlins because I've just said 3 or 4 of them could capture lightning in a bottle and they could do something very similar or even better than they did last year. However, it could completely go to shit as well. Yeah. Like, so with this team, I feel like if you're going to bet them, you want to be betting at the extremes of the outcomes. I don't think you want to be mucking about with the win total at 72.5. So last year, 79 wins. They were over 500 on the road. So I think, like I say, betting on the extremes, if I was going to take the over, I would just go up the ladder a little bit. To record 80 wins, I've got the Marlins at 3 to 1.
I like that.
And yeah, that's the play I would like. It's one more than last season. It's not a huge reach, I don't think, if they play well. And if they land somewhere in the middle, so be it. But I think that there's such a high ceiling. I'd rather play the ceiling than they just scrap around and finish on 74. I'd rather, and if they do have a good year, I don't want to have missed out. So I think Miami to record 80 wins as a bet stood out to me, Dylan.
Yeah, I like it. Even the win total, I know, and you only getting -110 depending on the book that you have, but 3-1 to just win 8 more games, one more than last year. I think that's a great bet. I didn't even see that, so I like that. 72.5. When doing this research, I thought it seemed a little low in my opinion. Like we said, they won 79 games last season, and yeah, people could say they might have overperformed, but to come back down 7 games, I feel like is a stretch for me. So I'm in on the over. I think they could have a similar season to like what we saw last year. I like the direction that they're going in. I think the outfield is strong with Jacoby Marseille. You got Kyle Sorvers, who's really good, and Owen Cassidy, who he has to prove it a little bit, but I like the outfield. They have some solid starters that I like. And you didn't mention they just signed Pete Fairbanks this offseason so for some bullpen help as well. So I like Pete Fairbanks. I know they have Chris Sale, but I like this rotation better than I like Atlanta's. I think Sandy could have a nice rebound year. Yuri Perez, you mentioned, is a guy every 5 days, especially at home. If we get a good number on him, I'm going to be backing Yuri Perez. I like Max Meyer. Braxton Garrett is a guy who could surprise you. And Chris Paddock is an all right fifth starter. So I don't mind this team. I think they could have a similar season. They're not going to make the playoffs or wow anyone, but 3-1 to win 80 games, just one more of last season, and I think they got better. Yeah, trading Edward Cabrera kind of hurt to the Cubs. That was one of their better starters, but I think they'll be just fine. And they're always feisty at home as well. Look at the last 2 to 3 years in Miami. The Marlins are extremely competitive, especially within the division. So yeah, I'm all in on the Marlins. They seem to always get me, honestly. Every year, the total seems a little low, but 72.5, I'm going to be in on the over.
It used to be the Angels for me, and I think now it's the Marlins. The Marlins are the new Angels. Megan Moonaff always talk about getting seduced by Angels. Well, now we're getting seduced by big angry fish instead. Yeah, that road record for me tells me it was not a fluke. The fact that they were over 500 on the road, that's a solid stat. And there's upside. You just said there's a lot of young people. There's a little step forward to be had. So yeah, positive Marlins was maybe something not an awful lot of people were expecting. Now, here's the big ask. Can we say anything positive about the Washington Nationals? The Washington Nationals are, for the World Series, 500 to 1. National League is 250 to 1, 100 to 1 for the division, 14 to 1 to make the playoffs. To miss the playoffs, minus around about 7,000 if you want it. And the total is at 65 and a half. Finished last year 66 and 96. So the total is right there again. They lost Paul DeJong, Josh Bell. The big one is Mackenzie Gore.
Yeah.
Going to the Rangers. They acquired a minibus full of prospects for Mackenzie Gore. Whether we'll see them or not, I don't know. I think the polite way to say it would be that they are fully committed to the rebuild, maybe. So yeah, D-Rock, did you find anything nice to say about this team, or did you find a huge value play in the fade?
I thought we were done. I didn't know there was a fifth team in this division. But yeah, no, I know. But yeah, I think the big thing that you touched on was losing Mackenzie Gore. I think they did get a bunch of prospects. We'll see if they wind up calling them, but yeah, I think you said it in the most polite way. They are fully committed to the rebuild, and I think the Nationals are going to be challenging the Rockies this year for the worst team in the league. If I said it a little more blunt, but there's a massive overhaul as well. The front office, a bunch of coaching staff changes this offseason. So I expect improvements to eventually follow, but I don't think this is the year. My model came out to around 62.5, 63 wins for this year. So not much on this team. I do think they have some intriguing players. I like James Wood. CJ Abrams is very fun. Luis Garcia. But I really have nothing. But I don't think they're going to be able to overcome how bad their rotation is. I think they're a few years away. I think you can make some money on them, but you got to pick your spots. It's just the rotation is terrible. I mean, Forrest Griffin, Josiah Gray, I know you like him, but Brad Lohr, who is a total fade, Cade Cavalli. It's bad when Miles Mikolas is your starting pitcher number
That's
one.
what that fuck. I nearly fell off my chair, Dylan, when I saw that yesterday. Oh no! It's like, oh shit, here we go. The Lizard King is back.
You're in a bad state when Miles Mikolas is your number one. No disrespect to Miles Mikolas, but he's been around the block and he's not that good. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to overcome their rotation. They got some young guys who I think are good and they'll be fun to watch, but I think they're a few years away. If anything, I would take the under on the win total, but nothing concrete.
The lineup does have some positives. You've got some fun players. James Wood, CJ Abrams, Dylan Cruz, Garcia as well. Joe's telling us
the over James 1.5 strikeouts.
Over 1.5 strikeouts every day for James Wood. Yeah, we can. We'll parlay them for 162 days, Joe. We'll be rich. So there's a little bit of. They've got some good players in there, which is part of the rebuild. I get it. Rotation, no thanks. Mikolas is your SP1. Foster Griffin, he's coming back from NPB. He might be worth a look early on. He might be all right. Like, you might get him the first 3 times through the rotation at a silly price. Maybe. I mean, I'm scratching around for nice things to say here. So Fangraphs have got projected at 69 wins. So if you do like the Nationals, this isn't for me, but it might be for you. To record 70 wins is plus 190. So that's not a bad price if you want that. The flip side for me, though, there's only 3 projected wins difference between the Rockies and the Nationals down at the bottom end. But the prices to finish the season with the worst record are wildly different. Colorado are minus 400. Washington is 7-1. That's a 3-game split. That's 2 swings of the bat, like, do you know what I mean? And they could get there. So I think at those prices, Washington it's 7-1. I think you would have to play that to have the worst record in MLB. D-Rock, we managed to get all 5 teams in the hutch. Have you got any best bets? Anything you want to recap? Take us through your prize picks.
Yeah, so I guess my best bet, I'll do a lot. I'll give you 2. My best bet, I am going to take the Mets over their win total. I just think they're the more complete. They have the most depth. I think the rotation is the best in the division. And yes, they're going to have a month or 2 where they fall. The Mets do what Mets do and they slump for a little bit, but I think this is their year that they're going to win the division. I think they're better than last year. I think they made some key adjustments, especially in that rotation and bullpen. So going to take the Mets to win the division. And if you like a plus play, sorry, Joe, but I am going to take the Atlanta Braves to miss the playoffs. You said at plus 190. I saw plus 2-1. I know it's not the best price, but I think when a team is so dependent on health, I don't think that's a good recipe for especially a long season. In a long season, I think why we love the NFL so much is because in 14 games, anybody could upset anybody and win the division. But essentially in baseball and longer sports, the cream always rises to the top. And I just think when a team is hurt and riddled with injuries, and I don't think this rotation is that good outside of Chris Sale, I'm going to bank on them not to rise to the top because I don't think they're that good. I think Philly's better than them. I think the Mets are better than them. And I think the whole National League has got better. So I don't think a lot of teams are going to be able to make the playoffs, especially 3 teams from the National League East. So at plus money to miss the playoffs, I like the Braves.
Okay. I've got a few here. There's a couple. There's one here I might sell you on, Dylan. I do think the Mets will win the division. Maybe it's just an ignorance of alternatives. Maybe the Mets have got a little bit of upside that I don't think the Phillies and the Braves have. I don't think I'll be betting them, but they would be my pick to win the division at plus 175. My best bets are Atlanta on the under 89.5. Philadelphia to have a better record than Atlanta is minus 111. And then I've got the 2 fancy ones. The first one, which I've already mentioned, is the Nationals to have the worst record in MLB. It's 7-1. There's not enough between the Rockies and the Nationals. Those prices are wrong, basically. And my final one is Miami to finish third in the division. Maybe Miami might just sneak past the Braves, and that's 6-1. So we mentioned Miami to record 80 wins at 3-1. If we're getting to 80, like that's where I think Atlanta might be living around 81, 82. So 6-1, Miami to finish in exactly third place. This will be absolute sod's laws that they have a great season, finish second. So I'll get this remarkable pick, and they will overtake the Braves, and then they'll chin the Phillies as well and finish second. But Miami to finish exactly third. It's 6-1, D-Rock.
I love it.
You into that?
Yeah, I'm into everything.
You're into everything.
I'm into everything.
Well, we've done it, Dylan. 45 hours. Do you know what? I was like unnecessarily anxious about this for the last 2 or 3 days, just because we haven't done it for 6 months, and I have to work harder at the baseball than I have to at the other stuff I do on the network or elsewhere, because this still doesn't come as naturally to me. And then 45 minutes in, we've just talked bollocks, and I absolutely love it. And I remember, bear in mind, this is show number 893, and I reckon I've done about half of them. So I don't know at any point why I should be anxious, having done about 500 hours of this show previously. I would keep your eyes peeled, everybody, for Friday. We've got the NL Central. So that's Scott and Lonte. Myself and Lonte are going to do the NL West on Sunday. And then the other 3 divisions all next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's going to be some WBC dropping as well. With it being a new season, we'll be trying to get some new listeners in. So if you are a regular, be a friend, tell a friend, like, rate, review, thumbs up. Just drop a little comment on Spotify, just anything. And it forces it, the algorithm, then forces that down the ears of other people. So that would be helpful. D-Rock, lovely to be back. Mate, are you going on some kind of special trip in the near future, Dylan? You were telling me earlier on.
Yeah, going to Bulgaria to cover Senshi 30. It's a kickboxing tournament in Varna, Bulgaria. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there next week for 4 days. So it's a nice little reset right in time for the WBC. But yeah, can't wait. Excited to be back. You said you felt anxious. I felt like I was home, kid. I loved it. I was waiting for today. I was itching at work. I was like, oh, we're talking baseball today. Oh, we're back.
I'm going to put Varna in my Google Maps here, and you're going to guess. I like a guessing game. I normally blindside you. How long will it take me to drive to Varna in Bulgaria, do you reckon? I'll give you drive. Yeah. I think you people always totally forget how small Europe is.
I don't know. Maybe
it looks nice, mate. It's right on the beach.
It's right on the Black Sea, baby. 7.5 hours.
Okay. Hang on. Just working it out. 7.5 hours. It's not that fucking small. Just finding the best route. 35 hours.
35. So
2,000. Oh, actually, Bulgaria's further away than I thought.
Yeah.
2,028 miles. Well, I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah. What's halfway?
Northern Italy. That'd be all right.
Right for the Olympics.
Mate, we've cracked it. We've absolutely cracked it.
Oh,
we watch some people doing something slippy. We'll have a pizza and we'll drive home. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you, everybody who joined us. We do appreciate it. The show is nothing without people getting stuck in the chat, normally with better picks than us. Watch the schedule for the rest of the shows. We're looking forward to it. Going to be all over it soon. Good luck with your bets, and until the next